Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the last side event of the Spain Pavilion here at COP29. I am Andrea Briones, researcher at Elcano Royal Institute, and it's an honor to co-facilitate this event titled Nothing About Youth Without Youth in the Pact for the Future, together with my colleagues from ICAT list, José Acosta and Sara Ros, both climate consultants. So this event is more than a discussion. We want to create partnerships, we want to build a network of future thinkers and try to create a space where words will turn into action. Not for next COP, not for COP30, but from now on, This format is inspired by Majlis, style of discussion. So we will makes a reference to a space where we sit together to share knowledge, different stories, and experiences, personal experiences. But before that, we will have a keynote speech, really briefly, to contextualize about the Pact for the Future, made by Leila Hazanova, COP29 Youth Climate Champion. Following Leila's words, we'll transition into a Majlis-style discussion. This circle format will foster this open dialogue that I was talking about. So right now, I'm thrilled to introduce some of these exceptional future thinkers that I have right now next to me. Mariana Gomez, she's a founder and CEO of Último Recurso. Rehan Husseinova, founder and CEO of Azerbaiyán Future Studies Society and MP node of Millennium Project. Hossam Imam, youth delegate supporting the Egyptian negotiations at COP29. Giverte Valart, chair, Youth Climate Movement. She will come in a few minutes. And two winners of the Generación Clima COP29, Irene Pérez and Paula Rincón, who will share the experiences at COP29. There's two other winners here in the circle too that will take the lead and talk also about their experiences. And without further ado, I'll give the floor then to Leila Hazanova.
Thank you so much. We came to a closure of the COP29 because tomorrow it's a wrap-up day, and thank you all for coming. I know it's busy and challenging for all of us to gather and do the final remarks, but still I'm so happy that we are here, and of course nothing about us, without us, the young people. So I would like to just very briefly introduce my role, because Presidency Youth Climate Champion role was established last year at COP28 to bridge the gap between youth and policymakers, between young people, between youth NGOs and COP presidencies. So from now on, each COP presidency will have a focal point for youth and for advocating and for amplifying their voices in such spheres and such platforms as COPs. So I have some notes with me, so without them it's really hard to get into the main point of the discussion. I would like to emphasize that with a rapidly closing window of opportunity to achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement and the SDGs, the Summit of the Future was really a pivotal moment for a demonstration of global solidarity to protect the needs of young people and future generations and children as well. Now having an action-oriented pact for the future, which includes a declaration on future generations, on us, swift implementation will be key in contributing to putting the world on a pathway which is better suited to dealing with the challenges of this and future generations, as well as the current revision of NDCs, which need to be aligned with 1.5 degrees. We, of course, know all of these documents, NDCs, national adaptation plans, BTRs, but what does it make, what a kind of importance it makes for us, the young people? Well, the importance is that we want to be included. We want our voices to be included in NDCs, in NAPs, in BTRs. And when I was appointed, I was thinking in which ways we can do this and build capacity for young people so that they contribute meaningfully to these documents and policies. We hosted several consultations with young people from across the globe. What we did for Azerbaijani nationally determined contributions is that we built capacity of young people and children together with UNICEF on what are the NDCs and how can young people and children here in Azerbaijan provide their recommendations to NDC working group here. So there are so many things that we can work on, and this is just a kickstart for us, the future generation. Thank you.
Thank you for all the information that you have shared just with us, Leila. Now I wanted to make all of you part of a quick icebreaker questions. So please, all of us, raise your hands up if you feel identified with any of these questions that I'm going to settle now. So the first of all, how many of you have taken part in a youth-led environmental initiative? So please raise your hand. Okay, so everybody has taken part of, and that makes me. So the second question could be, thank you. How many of you think that your generation has more responsibility than previous generation to solve the climate crisis? Okay, so that makes us all of us again. The third is, have you made a personal change in your lifestyle to be more eco-friendly? Recycling, for example? Okay, yes. That's good. And the last question is, who here has felt that their voice wasn't taken seriously because of their age? Okay. So due to that, we know the problem that we are facing related to youth, and we have to make part youth in these actions. And then I take the lead, my colleague Jose, to the first question. So please.
All right. Thank you so much. But first of all, I want to thank the team behind this pavilion. I don't know if you know, but this is the last event on the Spanish pavilion. And thanks for all the hard work in putting together this 2-week agenda. You've done a great job, so let's give a big round of applause to Eva, Sergio, Álvaro, team, Teresa, Andrea, Sara, Elena, and everyone else supporting from Spain. Thank you so much. But now, to warm up our minds, here's a question for our future thinkers. First, if you can give us a short, quick response to get us started, please. So the first question goes as follows. The Pact of the Future emphasizes multilateral collaboration. How can youth movements play a meaningful role in this framework? So who wants to start? Perhaps Mariana, I think you are interested in this question. Okay, here.
Hello, thank you very much for this invitation. I'm very glad to be here next to my neighbors. I'm from Portugal. So today is we are almost ending COP29, and I'm very frustrated, and so I'm not very optimistic. So sorry for this kind of discourse, but I think so youth can play a pivotal role in breaking the doors and telling the things that usually people don't want to hear, and talking about the elephant in the room. And I've been thinking of some things that happened today, and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not doing enough, or I'm doing enough, and I don't know. And I think that, so that's the first thing. And the second thing is, we have to make sure our voices are heard, even though like people are not inviting us to be in the room. So we have to like trying to design some campaigns and some other ways to have our goals and our I don't know in the room. I think it's that. Yeah. Yeah, I will say something later. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is very important to have the young people voice inside the negotiations. So, for example, I remember 6 years ago, I was attending my first COP in Katowice, COP24, and later COP in Spain, and so on. And when I met our delegation, I was just representing myself. I am a young activist. I want to be there. I want to raise the youth voice. But they were saying, so who are you? Who paid for you for coming here? Are you a spy or something like that? So this is the mentality that we faced. But we advocate just mobilized many youth in Egypt. We had several events and several awareness campaigns in Egypt, in every single city, I guess. And we mobilized youth. We invited the government to show them that we are part of the solution. And then later on, after 3 years, they created the Youth Negotiators Initiative, and I'm be part of it, and other 9 youth also. So youth can be part of this solution by representing other youth or other colleagues inside the negotiation rooms. And actually, I can tell a story from this COP. I was participating in the negotiation for agriculture, for example, and the room was, we don't have time for that text. We can't just make this progress this year. We can work on it in Germany. So I coordinated with my delegation that we need to set up different meetings, NFMF, and also sit on the ground, finish the text, whatever it takes, and just have an adopted text. And we agreed on something on agriculture. So because of that, we are very eager to have the solutions, we have this energy, so we can bring this to negotiations, which is collect different people from different countries. Yeah.
Hello. I think with all of the eyes on the NCQG, something that I would like to bring to the table is not thinking about finance and youth in silos, but actually thinking about how important finance is when we're talking about youth involvement. Because I think a big elephant in the room for me is the fact that a lot of youth-related events, youth-related initiatives, it means unpaid work, it means young people having to put in their own resources to be able to participate in these spaces. And so for me, it's really important. Yes, let's involve youth, but let's make sure that young people have the financial resources to be able to be present and to be able to dedicate the time and energy that is needed. So I think that, I mean, we come with Generación Clima. That was something that we received the financial resources to be able to come here. As we all know, COP is incredibly expensive. You know, you have like so many costs related to being in these spaces that you need to cover. So it's super important that there's more movements to be able to bring the financial resources to the table for young people to be able to be in these spaces. And I feel like it's not talked about enough. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Should I go? Yeah.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome, first of all, to Azerbaijan. I am like Leila from the local society from Azerbaijan, and I'm absolutely proud of my country, who in such a short period was able to organize such an amazing event. Coming to my background, and listening to you, and I'm thinking that over 18 years ago, I have started first in Azerbaijan future thinking projects. So we open especially our organization, Azerbaijan Future Study Society, just to be a part of the global future think tank with a head office in Washington. So when we opened our node, we were like 29 by number. Now over 70 countries consist in our organization, and more than 50% of them now currently in Dubai participating in Dubai Future Forum. So I also participated twice, but this year, because of COP, I obliged to stay here. And thank you, Elena, for kind invitation. And this also actually thanks to our Spanish node, to Ibon Zugasti, who put us in contact. And when Elena offered me to participate, I with pleasure, of course, accepted it. So during these years, over 18 years, we did a lot of projects trying to really, and most of them was bound with the young generation, of course. And I just would like to mention two of them, like face-to-face contents on face-to-face with young generation. It was essay contest on the 15 global challenges facing humanity. What is this? It's one of the chapters of the annual report of State of the Future report, annual published by Millennium Project. And my task was to translate it from English to Azerbaijani and to Russian, and to disseminate for all our high school students. My task was even distant, remote villages, just to send them. Idea was the students, pupils, supposed to choose first several years we did only for high schools, then we include already universities. My idea was not only had winners who will write their essay like how they see the salvation of these challenges. For me, was more like enlightenment, just to deliver them what's going on in the world, what is the challenges. So, because from these 15 challenges, among them was really bounded with climate change. So situation with clean water, sustainable development, energy efficiency, energy problems, women's empowerment. By the way, today is on the COP is Women Empowerment Days also. So this is like this, and we have winners. I found sponsors. First place winners got from distant villages. They got first ever in their life computers, and for me was important because by means of these computers they can open the eyes to the world to see what's going on. And second, there was a lot of things. We took our winners to Mexico, to Mexican part of this contents. Also, we organized in our state economic university online course, 1-year course on foresight. So future methodologies, environmental scanning, etc. So many years we got them. And I saw that I am absolutely happy seeing now Leyla next to me. I realize how many progresses has been made in Azerbaijan, how our youth grows, because at those times we don't have such kind of absolutely independent, confident person who can deliver speeches in front of you, in front of all audience of COP. And coming back to Future Pact, which we are talking today, is an opportunity, a pact that demands inclusive actions, where no decisions are made without participations of those whose future will be directly shaped by them. So everything's supposed to be done for them, and they not only suppose use, not only of course Azerbaijan on globe, they only not supposed to share their ideas. They have to get sources and support to be able to solve this problem. This is my vision on this case.
Thank you so much. I will try to add to that, but I think you've covered a lot of things. So I think I would like to bring a bit of my experience in here. I was born in a small city in Spain, and I grew up there, and this was not really a part of the conversation that I was exposed to growing up. I think that something that we really need to focus on if we really want a true youth involvement is to try to bring a diverse amount of voices to the conversation, because adding on to what Irene was saying, I think that we often see that the people that are here are usually from huge cities, are usually very privileged people, or obviously from certain countries with higher economic means, etc. So I think that for me, it was only when I had the chance to get a scholarship to go study abroad that I was exposed to these type of movements, to what you can do in UNFCCC spaces. And I actually learned that youth can be here, because that's actually something that I did not know. So yeah, I think that we should focus on encouraging youth to get involved in capacity building initiatives and to create those initiatives for them. And this is exactly what I do in the organization I'm part of. We have a COP training course that has a very low price, and we also give scholarships for people in the Global South. It has been taken already by more than 700 people. And I think that those are the ways to go. So that's what I would add in terms of youth involvement in the Pact for the Future. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. I would also add to this, because when Azerbaijan was announced as a host country of COP29, it was December last year, and yes, we had very little time to get prepared, and I think we did a really good job in getting everything done and ready for the smooth logistics and operations. What we did also this year is when the team got together already, the high-level champion, the youth champion, and president and lead negotiator, we focused on things that were missing from the agenda. In my role, what I did, we focused on building capacity for young educators. We brought together 75 young teachers from 35 countries to Baku in August this year, and we brought some experts as well who are brilliant in delivering climate change and what is the science behind it. So we educated those young teachers on the science behind climate change and how can they educate their respective communities, their children, their students on how to tackle climate change. So why we focused specifically on educators? Because one educator goes back to their country, community, school, kindergarten, university, and educates hundreds of young people and children. So I think this is also one of the greatest tools to educate the educators so that they deliver proper knowledge. Because we have been in my region as well, it was not the part of conversation. So as mentioned earlier, we never had such conversations of tackling climate change. It's now that we're stepping into this conversation, and we have to get all the knowledge possible.
Anyone else want to speak about this question, or we can go? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I think the next.
Yeah. So thanks for all the contributions for this first question. From now on, the rest of the questions will be for everyone here standing. So I'm going to explain a bit the dynamic. It will be, as my friend colleague said, it's a match list. So now, if you want to talk, you have to raise your hand, and then I will pass the microphone to you. So you will keep the microphone, and when you see another person wants to answer the question, you will pass the microphone. It doesn't have to come back to me. Okay? So for this second question, well, I could say that some of the comments before has answered a bit this second question, but now it's your turn to reply and answer this. Okay, what barriers do young people face when trying to engage in global climate discussions, and how to overcome these barriers? Okay, so now we have several hands, okay? We start over there, and you.
Okay, I have to echo what you... Okay, so my name is Abdelhamid Sharif from Egypt. I'm doing sustainability research and green tech. And I have to say, I echo what you said earlier regarding the equity when it comes to accessing climate spaces. Usually climate spaces are more privileged. And I have to say, sometimes it can be a little bit elitist in a way, not only on a scientific basis, but also when it comes to connections, especially in some countries. In order for you to be on the radar of representing your country and being on groups that are inclined to become ambassadors for sustainability and climate change, it's very difficult, especially when you're coming from a country that's heavily populated. And of course, the issue of financing the program, people would scramble to the last week before COP to secure financing. And I have seen very good people who couldn't come to COP, who have a lot to say, and they couldn't come because there is no financing available to their communities. And I have to say, when people talk about youth, they often forget they see them as just students. But in many cases, youth are working in NGOs. They are researchers at university doing green tech work and contributing to the green transition. And oftentimes, those people doing a lot of heavy lifting, they are not part of the conversation. So what we need to do is to do more, at least if they are not going to be here, to do more consultations across the year that will be able to get their feedback and make those consultations open as possible, to at least pass on their messages. Last year in COP28, I did a case study on a remote community. That the one thing that they kept saying is that we are at the end of the line. So that's the perspective of people who are in remote communities, that they are not heard. So there's a big responsibility of people who come here to make their voices being heard. Thank you.
Thank you. Buenas tardes, boa tarde, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nelio from Mozambique. So I feel part for my thing that my fellows here said. In first barrier, I think we can get, particularly in the Lusophone country, is about language, you know. That everything come here is in French, Italy, English, and Arabic or Chinese and Russian. Nothing in Portuguese, and we need to survive ourselves and do something else. I think Marianne understands what I'm talking about. Usually we approach that the Spanish content because it's some familiar for us. So I think it's around for the finance. Like, yeah, he said that something very real, and it happened in my youth delegation. I led my delegation for eight youths this year. That some partners respond our request when we are here. That say, yeah, I have funding for you. So it's about participate to say I had youth in the COP, or it's about effectively be part of the process, like Osman and the other youths are part of a negotiation. I think we here feel like when we go for the restaurant and with baby, the restaurant have a space to put a baby, and the big people are going to conversation at the table. So we are looking this here around. Like they say that we have youths around, and we put this space to the youth seat, and the okay youths go there play, and we are as big people with conversation. I think like big people. I'm very happy to see like since last year we have a position has like Leila, and I hope like next youth champion need to reinforce, to collect the voice and to make noise, to reinforce the space for the youth inside of the venue. Yeah, it's about this what I would like to share in this moment. I think colleagues they said, and we need to take it very seriously, because without it's impossible to have something for us without us. And youth, it's more people, it's more around the world than big people. I think so.
Thank you. So one thing, when you grab the microphone, please grab over here, so we can hear you better. Okay, so the next one.
Hi, good afternoon, good evening. My name is Amir, I'm from Azerbaijan. I have my own urban transport initiative, and regarding the barriers that we have, I think that the main barriers that we have, that everybody's touching upon, I mean, I'm going to be speaking generally, not in regards to the COP funding or whatever, but generally, like, why youth is not included in all the conversation, because we basically don't have any connections. So we're just born, we finish the university, we graduate, and that's it. We don't have anything. And I think the solution for that is to find people who are connected. So basically look for patronage. Look for adults who are connected and who are ready to empower the youth. And especially this is relevant to the countries like the developing countries, which are Egypt and Azerbaijan, including Azerbaijan. And I'll give an example of the people who are sitting here right now who have empowered me personally. Like Reha Hanum, she always ready to help, always ready to empower, always ready to provide her connections for the people who surround her, not just the youth, just people who have any ideas, who have something to show for it or something to give. And Elena also has empowered me through Reha Hanum by including me in this panel, including me in the COP29 in general. And what I'm trying to say is that basically you have to look around for Reha Hanums and Elena in your community, and hopefully they will empower you and include you in the room. And as long as you have that, you can, because we as youth, we have the passion, we have the energy, maybe we have ideas, and yes, the adults are more connected, and so we have to kind of find this hybrid solution for this. That's pretty much it. So hopefully, this will help someone.
Hello, I'm Vera from Spain, and I'm a young European ambassador. And one thing that, touching upon the topic that you were talking about, language, I want to bring another perspective, and is a barrier that I encounter many times is language. Language in the sense that language is not accessible. The climate scientific research is not accessible for many people to understand. And this is quite of an issue, because it's already telling us that this topic doesn't belong to everyone. It's already excluding certain groups of the population that cannot have the access to education, but also using technicalities that are not necessary, because research is intended to be understood by people. And if we cannot even understand what this is about, it's because we're being treated as tokens. Youth are being treated as tokens, sometimes as quota fillers. And this is something that I think we should really focus on breaking. It's definitely a topic that is, not only institutions, educational institutions, universities are a part of this, but in general, stakeholders. I think as youth, we have to push for more accessibility in terms of the resources that we have available, and ensuring that we can access quality education. Also because, we're in the era of misinformation, so that's also a big factor that plays into this, and youth not being able to really comprehend what this is all about, and not being able to engage meaningfully in debates, because we don't even have the access to the proper information. So this is something I'm committed to, and trying to bring education and just accessibility to many more people, both global and south of the globe.
Me? Yeah. Can I? Yeah. Just following your examples. I would like to bring examples. It just came to my mind because so many projects has been done now. When you mentioned this lack of information, I remember that nobody forced me, by the way, and nobody told me that you have to do that. And sometimes some people told me, "Oh, Rehan, you are doing blah, blah, blah." I said, if everybody will think why I am doing, nothing will be changed. So, and I was knocking the door of Ministry of Communication in those years, and I told that, listen, we're a country, we got a lot of refugees, we have like villages, schools with refugees children, and decided let's do as minimum for them courses on English and internet, so IT understanding. And we brought to these schools like computers, printers. We brought their teachers to Bakú, trained them, and I decided is of minimum they will have like English and access to internet. Their world vision will be little bit, move over. And we got so many, from parents, like appreciations. You just open doors for our kids. Plus to this, my second occupations, I am doing I am running an educational center where we prepare our students, young students, to study abroad. Of course, there are so many talented students from the regions, for example, who hasn't have possibility to study, but they are absolutely intelligent and amazing. And I put all my efforts every year to find for them like sponsorship, scholarship, to send them to study abroad. And then they're gonna come to Azerbaijan and to be the wonderful representatives. In French, we study. We send students in France, in Germany, in German, in English, all over the world. And I feel like duty to do that, because if I can a little bit to change something, to open to this youth, perspective. And also, last what I would like to mention that sometimes parents came to me and they don't know to where to send, whom their kids supposed to be, and are very popular as always, like lawyer or medicine. I said, listen, so many new, like specialities, and especially in environmental fields. So I am trying to little bit like follow them, show them another perspective. And for example, recently one girl, she was trying to do like medicine in France, which is extremely difficult, extremely hard, and she's supposed to redo it again. And I said, listen, maybe you will think about biomedicine, biotechnology, and now they're so happy that it's changed their vision. So such kind of things was also very important for our generation to open eyes for the youth, I mean. So thank you.
Okay. So sorry for the last comments. Like today, my eco-anxiety is like here. It's crazy. I know you will understand. So to give you a little context, I'm an environmental lawyer focused on climate issues and international public law, and I was working with the Portuguese mission next to United Nations in New York for the Pact for the Future. And I wanted to ask, do you know why we had a Pact for the Future? Like why António Guterres, this amazing Portuguese politician, asked for a Pact for the Future? So the answer is our world is chaotic. There's a lot of things going on that they said either we break through or we break down. And I was in New York, and I remember I was really hopeful that we would sign a document and everything would be okay and everything would be better. And then today I opened the news and Russia just bombed Ukraine with a huge nuclear missile. Not with nuclear things, but with it's possible. Was the International Penal Tribunal Court asked him to be condemned today. The EU Commissioner for Climate Action just said the agreements that we are discussing here in COPs and the final agreements are not enough. And I just heard that 2% of the delegations that are here are equitable in terms of gender, which means 98% of the delegations are dominated by men. And I was thinking of. So I was thinking about the Pact for the Future, and that we've been discussing a lot the Pact for the Future, and we've been saying that it was a huge agreement, and we will be talking about it for the next years. And I agree. And we've been asking what's the role of the youth, what youth can do. And well, I did a lot of things. I wrote a letter to the Portuguese government. I wrote a policy brief on how to engage youth meaningfully. Like what can we do actually? So I have here if you want to read. But the thing is, should youth be leading the way? Like, I've been hearing that we have the responsibility, but actually we don't. Like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be at home with friends, going to parties, traveling the world, I shouldn't be here, really. But I have to be here, even though I was not invited to be here, even though most of the people don't want youth or women representation here. And I've been thinking, like, what can we do if the world is chaotic and we have the knowledge, we have proposals, we have policy briefs, we have everything, but still our future is not bright. Like, it's really not bright. And so to finalize, I will tell you two things. Well, one thing that really empowered me. So I have an NGO that's focused on law. And with my NGO, I sued the Portuguese state for not complying with the climate national law. And today, I sued the environmental ministry for not giving me access to documents violating the Paris Convention. So that's one thing that really empowered me, that is holding our government and our politicians accountable for their actions or for their inactions. And I'm very privileged to use the law to be an environmental lawyer, and nothing happens to me. So my final thought and my final recommendation is for youth, if you want to do something, well, use the law if you can, because this is going to mess with some people. They are not going to enjoy it, but in the end of the day, you will have a court decision that is going to probably change your society or change the world. Yeah, thank you.
Just adding to the conversation, I think one of the greatest aspects that is hindering meaningful youth participation is the tokenism that it now exists. And I love what you said about meaningful youth representation, because a lot of the times they think like having youth means having a quota or having a survey or having, you know, only side events. But the truth is that if you go to the places where decisions are being taken, which are the negotiation rooms, and you enter, you realize there's not a lot of youth, not as negotiators, not as advisors, there's not enough. So we miss a lot of commitment of countries to not only engage youth at these settings, but actually there in the rooms where decisions are being taken. Unfortunately, parties, you know, don't have even goals on that matter of like how many youth should be on the delegation on these spaces. So I think we need commitment from countries on how to engage youth in a meaningful way, but also what goals can we put. There's not even data on like how many youth delegates are at these events. So we don't even know where we stand. So how do we aim to even improve that if no country says, oh, we want 50% of our delegates to be less than 30 years? No country has ever put a goal like that. So until we stop being tokenized, we're not going to be able to actually improve. And that also has a lot of effects because there's a huge gap, you know? I think one of the main things that is hindering us is that nobody actually take the time to thought us how to be on these spaces. Most of the time, you come to the first COP, you're very lost, you have no idea how to manage your way. And little by little, you start speaking with people and you understand how the system works, how to engage, who to engage with. But it shouldn't be like that. I mean, there is people at each one of our delegations who have been here for ages. Why there's no connection with those people? Why are we not exchanging, and especially on technical aspects, you know, not just being here at COP, but we need so much knowledge related to green skills, related to all these aspects that are getting discussed right now. And unfortunately, youth are not getting the required technical knowledge to be there, you know, providing the technical inputs, not only saying, you know, we need to stop, like, and this is my perspective, it's great to do the criticism, especially, you know, coming from a developing country where we still rely a lot on oil, but nobody says how, you know? So I think it's not a matter of saying what is wrong, but how are we going to improve it? And I think, in my perspective, that is where we need more youth involved, on the solutions, on the how, and that comes with the technical knowledge, and that comes from the people who are more experienced than us. So there's a lot of intergenerational equity and knowledge that is required. So we need to stop and close that gap between the knowledge that is right now. And, you know, coming back to my other point, we need to have goals as countries of how engage people and the amount they need, you know, a percentage or something on people to engage, because otherwise we don't even know how many youth delegates are right now. So until we have that information and we are able to work together to make this number more ambitious each year, like, we can talk about meaningful youth engagement as much as we want, but we need the data to back that up as well.
Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah, I just have an initiative now. We are here, like, we have an amazing people here. We have the youth champion, we have lawyers, we have some activists, and you all. We can work together on something to be presented at the SBs, maybe policy recommendation. Maybe we can add something to the ACE agreement that we can discuss for providing maybe support and capacity building for youth to be part of the delegation, and this to be mandatory for every delegation to be part, to have youth as part of the delegation. Maybe it can be an initiative coming from COP29, from this panel, or Majlis, if we can say. And we can work on it until the SPs, led by our champion here.
I would just like to respond to Mariana and to her suggestion to use the law to establish order, let's say. I mean, the way that you're operating in Portugal is very different from the 90% of the world operates, because the law is not that strong in all of the countries. So it doesn't really apply to the developing countries. And there you need to be more subtle with the government. If you sue them, you probably end up in jail and nobody wins. So, I mean, again, coming back to what I said before, you need to find other ways to communicate your concerns more subtly. Maybe like, again, as activists, so maybe start some club, or like accumulate some people, create set up meetings, or like do something else. Just to voice, just to bring your concerns up with the people who do actually make decisions, and sometimes they do hear you. And but again, law is not a solution in most of the countries in the world, for sure.
I said I was very privileged.
Yeah, you're privileged. But again, I mean, the saying that the law doesn't work in other countries doesn't mean that we don't have any solutions. That we can't do anything. We still can do things, but there's just other ways to do it. And as long as you search for these answers, search for these solutions, we can still make change. We can still make change, of course. And also, just to correct the thing that you said that about the nuclear bomb, it wasn't a nuclear bomb actually. It was a missile that could carry a nuclear bomb. So we're safe because Ukraine.
I said that too.
I didn't hear that, but like we were safe because Ukraine is so close here, so we're all right.
Thank you so much. Well, I'm Jardi, another of the Generación Clima winners. I just also wanted to bring to this debate the position of children, because we're also always considering young people as over 18, but we should also bring into this discussion people which are under, or who are under 18, because in the end, for children to come to COP, it's usually far more difficult, or more procedures to come. You usually need to sign an agreement with a guardian. You need to come with or either with your parents or with someone else from the organization to help you, to guide you. And there are no formal spaces for children to be represented. And in the end, a person from 25 years old will surely have different experiences than a person from 15 years old. And both should be represented at COP.
Thank you so much. I actually want to build up of what you said. I do agree with the fact that legal systems have many flaws. They have been historically instrumentalized to further the marginalization of many groups. They have been instrumentalized to oppress women, to politicize us, etc. But I do think that there is no way that we can. There are ways, but this is the best way to hold people accountable when they do not meet, when they, let's say, when they are not doing what they should do. I think that we should all be working on strengthening our legal mechanisms, and I do agree with Mariana on that. I think that, yes, it might be privileged, and it might be the best way in developed countries, maybe not yet in developing countries, but I do think that that is the way forward. And until we don't actually strengthen our legal mechanisms, I don't think that we are going to be able to hold accountable the institutions that we should be holding accountable. So yeah, I just wanted to add that.
Thanks. My name is Sabina, and representing the UNFPA Azerbaijan office. And I would like, just Leila is here, and we got the initiative. We did this Girls for Climate Action, and we did it in the region, and it was wonderful. 25 young girls from the remote areas, actually vulnerable areas with the shortage of the water, from, remote regions. And, I just wanted to echo what you said, because it was girls from 14 to 16, and they were really, I mean, their projects at the end of all this camp, at the end of the project, they did this, wonderful job. And they work with their local communities, and they did this, project for the communities. But still, now we should, they wanted to come here and present it and be in the center of the discussions. Unfortunately, we couldn't. We could just one girl from 25, and she is 16, that's why. So the girls under the 18, even under the 16, they couldn't be presented. But the main thing is this project should work because they know their communities, they know what they need. So, and I hope that both, all our international organization with the youth champion, we will, send this to the government at least, or finance one of these projects of the young girls. Thank you.
Hi, this is Shrey Goyal. I'm from India, and I'm here to represent 20% of the world's population, and I think an even greater proportion of the global youth population. This is my 10th COP, and I'm rapidly moving towards the point where I'll no longer qualify as youth, so I'll try to make this quick. Sorry, I would rather not say, no. That's for you to guess. The first COP I attended was COP20 Lima, and I was there as a winner of what used to be called the Momentum for Change Lighthouse Activity Award, which is now called the Global Climate Action Award. I won the award in the gender category, and at the time I was the youngest winner of the award and also the only man to have won the award. And it meant a lot to me, not just because awards matter, especially when you're young, but it meant a lot to me because that position did not involve the word youth in it. At the time, youth meant giving a seat on the kids' table at the Thanksgiving dinner. So, you get a seat and you get a little award, they put a crown on your head, and you're supposed to be happy with that. Earlier, the previous year, I had participated in a conference in Colombo where the Colombo Declaration for Youth was signed. That document never even reached anywhere where decisions were made. It was just to get a bunch of young people together to play some games. So while I'm here at the COP, a bunch of people have asked me, and I've delivered a few panels, about what has changed in the last 10 years and what makes me hopeful. In general, I'm a bit of a pessimist when it comes to climate action, and we can talk about that later. But what does make me hopeful is the way the participation of youth has changed. So in COP20 Lima, there were a number of young people who were activists, but compared to now, they seemed to be a bit directionless. They seemed to be there as activists, but not very well informed. And since then, just to give you an example, so yeah, I've been to 10 COPs and 3 or 4 SBs. At the last SB I attended, I was there with a French parliamentarian who was just over 50 years of age and who works in this space. He was the Minister of Science for France, he was a physicist. And there was a young person at the SB, maybe 17 years old, holding a board saying, we want WIM. And then he went over to him and he said, do you know what you're talking about? What is WIM? And this 17-year-old went into deep technical details about the Warsaw International Mechanism for Loss and Damage Finance. And my colleague was awestruck, completely awestruck. And that really makes a difference. Of course, that involves mentorship and stewardship by older people in this space. But yeah, that is something that makes me hopeful. I'm no longer a skeptic of that label of youth, and a number of programs, including the Youth Climate Champion, including the AOSIS Fellowship, which if you don't know about it, you should really look into it. Sorry. That has really changed the scene. Young people are still patronized. There is no denying that. But things have at least improved, and I agree with one of the previous speakers that as young people, we are not supposed to be doing this. So when the world applauds Greta Thunberg, it's really applauding the inaction and the shame that older generations should feel, because that is not something a 14-year-old is supposed to be doing. A 14-year-old is supposed to be doing what a 14-year-old is supposed to do. They're supposed to be enjoying their life. Their job is not to worry about what's going to happen in the next 5 years. Their job is not to worry about the next 10 years or so. So I think part of our job is also to shame older people who are not fulfilling their responsibility, and at the same time to applaud people of previous generations like Elena here, who has ensured the participation of many of us in the Spanish Pavilion and given space to many youth and inspired many of us. So yeah, that's about it.
Perhaps the last participation by Gabriel. Okay. I think it's the only one here that has not spoken, so it's great to finish with the last one.
Yes, hello. Yes, I am Gabriel. I just want to congratulate all of you because it has been very good interventions, very enriching, and especially want to congratulate Mariana. I think you are doing a very good job, and I would like to, if you can you share with Convención Clima, the youth delegates from Spain, what you are doing, because we have also the same problem. We're not addressing correctly the young people. And if you can, help us sharing your notes, I think will be very helpful. And since we are neighbors, I think we have kind of the same problems. Thank you all.
Great. Okay. One last point.
Last point. We are in our region. We are facing problems. We are facing wars. We have many refugees. Because of what's happening in Palestine, for example. Like I have a friend. He don't have any residency in anywhere. Like he is a refugee. He holds a refugee passport, and also this passport it can't allow him to be part of Palestine, and also he need a residency for anywhere to sit. So if the residency is just finished, he need to, and the country need to deport him. There's no place to deport him, you know. So he, like many like him are in our region because of what's happening, and I think those people also needs to be included in the process. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. I know that we are running out of time, but just wanted to add on the point about children in climate action, because so far what I've seen, and I've been to the discussions for like last 10 months, they are very much eager on meaningfully participating. And currently what they raise, their main issue is that only 2.4% of climate finance goes to them, to children. And they're very much aware of that. I've seen so many children speaking on the panels without even a paper. So I'm like coming to the stage and sometimes nervous, having those notes. And they're going and requesting justice for them. So it's very important that we at this stage not include them for the tokenism, but we include them and we care about them. Because children can challenge world leaders, decision makers. Their powerful messages are very much welcome to the rooms where so many serious discussions are taking place. And it's sometimes just funny and scares me to some point that when a child is speaking, everyone is like, oh, that's so cute, that's so sweet. But this is cute and sweet, of course, but what they are speaking is very important. And we should, and it's every time when I hear someone, a child speaking, it echoes and it resonates very much to me, because I know that our future children, the next generation, will inherit a world that we are currently uncertain about. So I hope that we, all of us here gathered, we make sure that in our respective communities we educate those children and we help and support them. Of course, it's very hard to bring them to these platforms because they need safeguards, they need someone who is taking care of them, because emotionally they cannot stand these places. But UNICEF is doing an amazing job, a great job, and I've been to discussions with their director, global, And she said that no one can say no to children. And that's right. If they demand the climate justice, climate finance justice, no one can say no. So I think we can definitely build that capacity for them, for children as well.
Okay, so we're going to end up with a positive note, I guess, a recap of some points that you've been given throughout the session. So, for example, Leila highlighted Azerbaijan's initiative to train young teachers globally, enabling them to return home and share knowledge with their communities. Mariana emphasized that youth, while often excluded from negotiation rooms, can still influence decisions by pushing for change from outside, like holding the government accountable by using the law. Hossam advocated for youth as problem solvers, uniting diverse perspectives from different countries to drive solutions. Irene called for integrating youth and finance, ensuring resources are accessible to enable young people's participation in key spaces. Reyhan stressed the importance of education and practical projects in empowering youth to take part in climate action. And Paula highlighted the value of amplifying diverse youth voices and supporting their involvement in capacity building initiatives. So with that note, I give the floor to Andrea to close up the session.
Well, I just wanted to give you all a big, big thank you. You've enriched the conversations, the discussions at the Spain Pavilion. I know that we come from different countries, different regions in the world. We have different problems, but we all agree, I think, that we have one need in common in regard with the topic of the session, and that is to elevate youth participation in all levels of climate governance. And I think we should use the differences that we might find between us as strengths to work together towards that future that we want. We don't want our voices to be heard, just that, but we want that to bring action, to create a movement and work together between intergenerational collaboration. And, well, that said...
To think in chorus, not in solo.
Yes, that's it. So that said, I just want you all to have a bit of Spain. So we have some gift for all of you so that you can think in the future about our experience here. And I really hope that this is not just a discussion and that we could collaborate. So thank you, all of us.
Thank you.
Please, team, I don't know if you can, but if you can come to stage, I want to give you a big applause and a gift.